Did you walk under a ladder today or cross paths with a black cat? Why do you ask? How else do you explain to me the craziness that was this team on the ice tonight and all the craziness off the ice with roster management? That's Preds hockey. Before you fly off the handle, Johnny, take a deep breath. Does someone somewhere have a voodoo doll collection of this roster? As always, not helping. I guess the season's over. So, that was the plan.
Why does it say placed on waivers?
Nothing said. I have to talk about dumb moves and a Preds front office. What the hell did I just watch? Do I really need to be here for this at this point?
I'm not having flashbacks to Game 4 against the Canucks last spring.
At this point, Johnny, you can just splice together old intros. Cue the intro.
Redemption take you home.
Preds lose 3-2 to the Columbus Blue Jackets Tuesday night in Columbus, Ohio, inside a Nationwide arena. 3 straight losses by the Preds now. No ground really gained on the second wild card spot. This loss tonight, 3 days away from the NHL trade deadline, should absolutely just about do it for any serious talk about postseason play for this team. More about that in a wrap-up in this video. Preds playing the second half of a back-to-back after losing controversially to Detroit yesterday afternoon in Nashville, and it is announced right before puck drop that a healthy scratch for roster management reasons is big sexy Michael McCarron, and we're all wondering, okay, roster management means he's being traded. Where to? Well, it would shortly come out later from beat writer for the Minnesota Wild, Michael Russo, that Michael McCarron is being traded up there to the Minnesota Wild in exchange for a second-round pick that just so happens to be in 2028. Key thing there, 2028. If that was this year, yeah, it would suck the fact that it's going to be a low-end second-round pick, but considering Michael McCarron, yes, he was drafted originally by the Montreal Canadiens in the first round. Considering that he's our fourth-line center, getting a second-round pick for him in 2028 is a pretty good return. And you never know. Minnesota might have a drop-off by then, so that could be a higher than 47th overall in that draft in 2 years. As for the lineup in this game, Ozzy Westblatt takes Michael McCarron's spot in the roster, and because Saros played against Detroit on Monday night, Justus Annunen is called upon to be between the pipes. Both teams taking a few minutes in the first period to get their feet under them, both having played on the back-to-back on Monday, both having to travel for this game. Columbus taking overtime against the Rangers in New York Monday evening. In a bit of a shocker, 8 minutes into the first period, Columbus netminder Jet Reeves has to leave the game, forcing Elvis Merzlikins, who played on Monday against the Rangers, to come in, having nobody else to play in net. Under 9 minutes left to go in the first, after taking his first shift of the game to count as having played in the game, and you don't want to get penalized for not having dressed 18 players plus your 2 goalies for the game, sans you get a penalty from the team. That counts. Cole Smith is taken out of the game, off the bench, back to the locker room, and many of us suspect, having already seen McCarron being traded, that nope, this isn't an injury. Cole Smith is going to be traded too. Fast forward to about 5.5 left to go in the first. Blue Jackets in transition into the Preds zone. Some sweet passing, some lackluster defense from the Preds, and the puck winds up on Adam Fantilli's stick, and he beats Annunen. Nothing Justus can do on that play, and the Blue Jackets have the early 1-0 lead. In a move I haven't really seen in maybe forever, but heck, this is a game where there was a last-minute scratch for roster management, and then a guy taken out of the game during it for roster management, quite possibly. Shortly after Columbus goes up 1-0, Jet Reeves returns to the game, and Elvis Merzlikins goes back to the Blue Jackets bench. Everything is okay with Columbus's goalie after all. Near the end of the period, first there's a Preds penalty, putting Columbus on a power play. Shortly after that, there's a Columbus penalty that negates it, giving us 4-on-4. No scoring during Columbus's time on a power play. No scoring during the 4-on-4, meaning the tail end will mean the Preds are on the power play. There's collapsing by the Preds, and chaos ensues in front of the Blue Jackets net. The Preds are sure they scored. The refs take a moment or two to finally call it, but they are indeed right. Stamkos was the sure guy who knew it, and Forsberg's 27th of the season has this game tied at 1. In a period to start off this game where at one point Columbus was out shooting the Preds by a total of 7-1, it ends after 20 minutes, 9 shots apiece. Early in the second period, good chances by both teams, as you would expect. Blue Jackets with the first power play in the second period, but the Preds PK comes up strong, allowing the Blue Jackets only 1 shot on goal, and they kill it off. With about 8.5 left to go in the second period, play is in the Preds defensive zone. Eric Holla, who has been the subject of many trade rumors, blocks a hell of a shot. He would have to leave and get checked out. You don't want to see him leave the game or hurt this roster going into Friday, because he has been the subject of many trade rumors, since he is also a pending unrestricted free agent come July 1st. 5.5 left to go in the second period. Puck is in the Columbus zone behind the net. It comes out, gets on net on Merzlikins, scramble, and it goes in. Merzlikins protest to no avail. He thought he had it covered. No, Elvis, it was a loose puck, and it just got by you. Preds have their first lead of the game. The goal is credited to Ryan O'Reilly, and the Preds have something to play for in what many of us knew coming into this game was basically a must-win game for any serious talk of play in late April for this franchise. Good news after the Preds go up 2-1. Guess who's back on the Preds bench? Good as new, Eric Holla. Thank you, God. Under 2 minutes left to go in the second period. Rush by Ryan O'Reilly. A backhand chance by him beats Merzlikins but rings off of the post. Period finally ends, but not before former Pred Matthew Olivier with some questionable stick work on Preds defenseman Nick Hague. Some words are exchanged, but the Preds have an important lead, you would think, after 40 minutes up 2-1. Preds on the power play starting 90 seconds into the third period, but that doesn't matter for the Blue Jackets because 20 seconds later, Sean Monahan carries the puck out shorthanded. He's got Charlie Coyle with him, and as they get closer to the Preds net, guarded by Justus Annunen, Charlie Coyle is pushed into Annunen by Steven Stamkos as Sean Monahan gets a shot up that goes in. Annunen clearly couldn't make the save because of the interference that was caused by Stamkos, and for that reason, Bruno decides not to challenge it, and for the second straight game, the Preds have surrendered a shorthanded goal against after starting the season through 59 games of having not surrendered one. 4 minutes later, after tying the game, the Blue Jackets on the attack again from just inside the blue line. Blue Jackets defenseman Damon Severson takes a shot that goes through and into the Preds net past Annunen. And just after being up 2-1 to start the third period, the Preds now find themselves trailing once again down 3-2. But wait, hold up. The Preds take a timeout and want to think this over and look at the replay. And thankfully in this game, I got the Preds feed, so I don't feel like I heard something biased like if it was the Columbus feed and they would want the goal to count. C-Mace and Willie were meticulous on it, and Charlie Coyle was kind of bumped by Yossi, but he didn't go directly into Annunen from the hit, only after, and Annunen was interfered with. So you'd think this goal would be coming back, but the refs confer, and say that it was a good goal. A good goal. That was a good goal. Nobody can explain to me 100 absolute percent so we know what the drawn line is, what is goal interference and what isn't goal interference. Because that should have been goal interference, and this should have still been a 2-2 tie in that moment. Fortunate thing to come out of that is the Preds increased their penalty kill because they would kill off the delay of game penalty that you get called against you if you're wrong on a challenge. Preds have a good stretch trying to tie it up. That includes Sillinger losing his stick, but that's negated because Michael Bunting gets called for slashing on a retaliatory penalty right off the ensuing face-off to kill the penalty. Oh yes, things just go from bad to potentially worse. Ryan O'Reilly, who is there to take the face-off, gets the butt end in just below his eye. He's bloody. He has to go off for stitches. And with so little time left, yes, of course, knowing the Preds' luck, he didn't return to this game. I haven't heard any injury news, but I assume he's going to be okay. This is a guy who is grandfathered in that he doesn't have to wear a face shield if he doesn't want to before he retires, even though any new players do. Preds would kill off the Michael Bunting penalty successfully, still only down a goal, as now under 5 minutes left, the Preds try to scrounge something together. They don't have Michael McCarron in the lineup. They have Ryan O'Reilly out as he gets stitches, and Cole Smith is out for roster management as this team tries to plug holes to see if in this game it's going to be able to pull out a miracle and get 2 points, much less 1. Under 2 minutes left to go in regulation, Columbus trying to drag this game over the finish line to help them get into the Eastern Conference playoffs, as about 10 seconds after that, when there's a stoppage, Bruno elects to use his timeout. He pulls Annan, seeing if a miracle can happen. Hey, Luke. Hey, Phil. This is about the time that you guys, if you want to make the big buck, would score a key goal. Time is expiring. It's clear that Ryan O'Reilly isn't going to come back in this one, and the Preds have nothing to show for it. They blow another game that they had a lead. They had a lead in the Dallas game, they had a lead in the Detroit game, and they had a lead in this game, and they have a combined 1 point to show for it as they fall in this one and lose their third straight game, losing to Columbus in this one by a final of 3-2. And there you go. Game 61 with another loss, and for all serious intents and purposes, that should just about do it for any serious talk of the Preds playing important, crucial games in late April. Get Barry Trotz's cell phone ringing, please. Yeah, at this point, the Preds are 4 points back of the second wild card spot with 21 games, but with the fact that you have to play better than those teams in those 2 wild card spots and teams that are between you still out of the playoffs, you have to play better than them at pretty much 4 more wins than losses than they'll get. There is no good reason why you can risk standing pat past Friday at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. You need to start moving pieces out of Nashville onto other rosters and getting assets back to put in the cupboard for Barry Trotz's successor. As I've already talked about, the Preds got the ball rolling by trading Michael McCarron to Minnesota for a second-round pick in 2028. Near the end of the game, there was word that Cole Smith was being traded to Tampa for a third-round pick in 2028. It has since come out, since I've been filming this Preds fan reaction video, that it is a third-round pick in 2028 coming back, but he is actually going to Vegas, where he gets to reunite with his friend Jeremy Lauzon and Colton Sissons. Oh, great. Don't be expecting me, to be rooting for Vegas because former Preds are on the roster now. Those trades haven't been consummated. Now leave Eric Haula, Michael Bunting, and potentially Tyson Jost, who are all unrestricted free agents come July 1st, left on the roster to be put out there for teams to make a call to Trotz to maybe make a trade for them to also putting more assets into the cupboard for the future. You have to trade Michael Bunting and Eric Holla for sure. No questions asked. Hopefully you can get a decent draft pick in return like you did for McCarron and Cole Smith, Barry Trotz. But also, the free agents from not too long ago that you signed, if you get a good offer for Jonathan Marchessault, I think he'll take a trade for a fresh start. And yeah, Steven Stamkos likes having set up roots in Nashville, but if somebody makes a good trade, you got to go to Steven and say, would you take this? And I appreciate the loyalty of treating Ryan O'Reilly for what he's done for this team, what he's done for Luca Evangelista this season, and the fact that he doesn't have no trade or no move clause protection. Trotz, if somebody gives you a sweetheart deal on the fact of what that guy does for a team, and if he has term of 1 more year, you've got to do it. You have to make this team better. I will talk to you guys after all this craziness on Thursday, where the Preds will play their last game before the NHL trade deadline on Friday. But don't put it past me that I might have to do a video tomorrow if there's another trade. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click a like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media and interact with me during every Preds game and any Preds trade that comes up before Friday at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific by clicking on a channel name. Tell all your friends about redemption. Everyone deserves a chance at redemption. Hopefully McCarron, Cole Smith, and any other Preds player on the roster right now finds that with their new team moving forward this spring. Don't miss a chance that in the future, when all of these future draft picks come to fruition, that one day you will see and witness redemption.